All right, I'd like to welcome Bobby Nightengale Jr., the Minnesota Twins beat writer from the Minnesota Star Tribune, to the Days of Roar podcast. We talked to Bobby coming out of spring training about how the Tigers and Twins could be the top teams in the American League Central. Fast forward more than 5 months, the Tigers and Twins are competing for the third and final spot in the AL wildcard. Bobby, thanks for coming back on the podcast with 2 weeks remaining in the regular season.
Yeah, my pleasure. Definitely didn't expect Kansas City to be the team that they are, and Cleveland, I expected them to fade at some point, and they never did. So kind of two teams that blew my expectations out of the water.
Same here, especially with Kansas City. But for the Twins, what's the vibe like right now around the Twins? The Twins have lost 17 of their last 26 games. They had a 70-53 record in 123 games before that. What's the vibe like? How aware are the Twins that the Tigers are breathing down their necks at this point? How are things going in Minneapolis right now?
Yeah, it's been rough. It's been one of those nothing's gone right for like the last month, and they're able to finish a series against the Cincinnati Reds with a win that felt much needed. If they would have got swept at home by them, they would have been in a dark place. I mean, they still have a big road trip coming up. They'll go to Cleveland for 4 games, and they'll see Boston for 3 games. So difficult road trip coming up, but it's one of those. They have 3 rookies in the rotation. None of those guys are able to provide many innings. The bullpen's overtaxed, and it hasn't pitched well since the All-Star break, having a really tough time scoring. They just got Carlos Correa and Byron Buxton back from the injured list. That was kind of the positive news of the weekend. But outside of that, it's just been everything that could go wrong has gone wrong, it seemed like.
Yeah, so a lot going wrong right now for the Twins, but can you help me understand just like, and you kind of hinted at some of it, but what are the strengths and weaknesses of this team? Like if Tigers fans are watching and they're starting to pay attention to more Twins games, what are they looking at both from the standpoint of, hey, here are the strengths of this team and here are the weaknesses where maybe this team could crumble?
Yeah, I mean, right now it seems like 2 out of every 5 days they have Pablo Lopez and Bailey over in the rotation. Those are the days they feel like they should win, but it's almost deflating when they don't win because it's just the 3 rookies that they have. Simeon Woods Richardson's one of them. It feels like he's hit a wall. Hasn't completed 5 innings in his last 3 starts. David Festa and Zebby Matthews are the other 2 young starters. And, it's tough to throw those guys right into a playoff race. It's their first time doing it, but they're just not giving many innings. I would say, kind of the weakness is they're not scoring very much in the early innings against opposing starting pitchers. That was kind of the strength in the middle of the summer, and they've really gone away from it. It's just one of those, it seems like everyone's slumping at the same time. Royce Lewis has kind of had a rough summer. That's surprised them a little bit. And now, they were missing Carlos Correa. They were missing Byron Buxton. Willie Castro, he was an all-star this year, former Tiger, and I think he only has 4 or 5 hits this month. So that's kind of been the theme, is it's kind of they all slumped at the same time, and they're not scoring early, so they're falling behind in games, and they don't really have it feels like they don't have the bullpen, especially the non-high leverage guys, to stay in games. That seems like as soon as they get down 4-2, one of the relievers or a starter will fall in trouble, and then they end up going down 9-2, and they're unable to come back and climb out of it. So that's been the bad thing. I mean, defensively, they should be better with Buxton and Correa back. That should make a big difference. And when they have Pablo Lopez and Bailey over on the mound, those are definitely games that they feel like they're favored to win any of those games just because those 2 pitchers have been pretty much lights out since the All-Star break.